So now for the second battle, already in progress, Doryan taking on Miziad, who was supposed to go earlier. We missed the first two turns, but not much seems to have happened. And now on the grade 3 ride, we have ride into Bailiff, which has the ability to give the stride the ability to change hearts. Doryan gets a stand trigger. And a critical, crit to Vanguard. I actually had forgotten that he was at grade 3 for a minute there. I honestly would have went for the Vanguard and the other attack just to rack up the damage as much as possible. But getting rid of rears when you're fighting Aqua Force is never a bad idea. Ride into Strike Head Dragon with a Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1. Calls a unit, and that unit will have the ability to stand again. So Max has the ability to attack twice, which also means that technically he didn't have to call any more units, but he decided to anyway. So Max attacks. 5k block if Doryan decides to guard it. That's kind of late. I think Doryan is going to try to bank on getting a trigger in the damage check. Perfect guards the Vanguard, which is good because the Vanguard would... Ooh, that's bad. That unit was given the starter skill, so it's going to restand. Then again, Doryan should have the amount of grade 0s in hand enough to deal with it. And he does. Big hand difference, though. The question is, what is Doryan able to do now? The answer is he's able to stride. He strides into Epoch Maker. And now with the ability of Bailiff, he can counterblast 1 and make Chrono Jet the new heart. And by doing that, Bailiff goes to the bottom of the deck. He does have to counterblast 1 in order to do it. He did have the counterblast, so it was a quick fix. Attacks 13. And at the end of the battle, it goes back into the deck. A grade 1 appears at rest. It's important to note at rest. And the deck is of course shuffled. Did he shuffle? Huh. Well, unfortunately, nothing can be done about it now. Let's see. Okay, that Max has a rearguard skill that he's going to be using. Counterblast 1. At the end of the battle, that this unit attack the Vanguard. If it's the third battle or more, pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your rear guards. It gets 2,000 power, and choose two of your rear guards and exchange their positions. Okay, based on the field setup, that's not going to be happening. Doryan just has to block a lot of pokes. With only 3 cards in hand, it's actually going to be really difficult for him to block this. The Lambros restandings. If Doryan understands that, I hope he at least guards this. Blocked with Ishin. So now these two units are going to stand. They're both going to gain 10,000, so 221k columns. And a 26k Vanguard, which Doryan should not try to block. So we see the drives and a heal trigger. So that's even more difficult to block now. No critical. So Doryan can afford to take one more hit. Decides not that hit because he can't block the other rear. Good call. Was not a trigger. Unfortunately, unless Doryan just top deck Stride, he's going to have to think about what he can do. He actually could have used Gunner Gear Draco Kid's skill to get a grade 3 so he had another attacker. Doryan accidentally draws twice. And Miziad is being a dick. Doryan just takes the attack and says game and just ends the game there. He wouldn't have enough to block all these attacks even though he yeah. Even though he does have two 10Ks, he can't block everything, so good games, on to the next.